If you remember in the phasor transform chapters, the phasor concept that we studied earlier, in solving the circuits, we used to make the given circuit in the phasor domain or the frequency domain. So R would be transferred or transformed to R. L would be transformed to j omega L, and C would be transformed to 1 over j omega C. And then a voltage would be transformed to a phasor voltage, and any current would be transformed to the phasor current. So given a circuit in time domain, you convert it to the phasor frequency domain, solve it in the frequency domain, and bring the answer back to the time domain, was what we used to do in the phasor case. Similarly, here we would be doing exactly similar steps. So let us first understand how circuit in time domain is converted to S domain, or better said, the frequency domain. Okay, so to begin with, seeing how a circuit in time domain can be converted to a circuit in the frequency domain, let's begin with um, the case of a resistor. So if we have a resistor in time domain, its value is R, and we have a current I R flowing through it, and according to passive sign convention, the voltage across it is VR. This VR is small, IR is small, because they can be functions of time, changing currents or voltage. So in time domain, we can write VR is equal to R into IR. So if we take the Laplace transform of this whole thing, what are we going to get? The Laplace transform of the left hand side and the Laplace transform of the right hand side. We are going to get the Laplace transform VR of S of the left hand side, and on the right hand side R is a constant. It will come out of the Laplace transform, and what is left is the Laplace transform of IR. So that's it. So you can see that this form is identical to that of Ohm's law. So even in the frequency domain, R is going to remain an R. That small IR now is going to be converted to IR of S, and the voltage across the resistor would be capital VR of S, and that's it. So you can directly apply Ohm's law and write the relationship for a resistor. Similarly, the same steps done for an inductor. So an inductor with some initial current maybe. So we are just isolating and focusing on the inductor. So the current going into the inductor is IL. According to the passive sign convention, the voltage across it is VL. It is of L henries. And in time domain, we write VL is equal to L DIL by dt. So if we take the Laplace transform in order to understand how it is going to behave in the frequency domain, we are going to get the Laplace transform of VL would be equal to L is a constant, gets outside. Now this is a derivative of a function, and by functional transform table, we can easily write it as S, the function, and minus the value of the function at I0. So let me just multiply this L. So we get SL ILS minus this L also multiplies here. Let us say this initial current in the direction of this IL is I naught. The initial inductor current in the direction of IL. Then this becomes Li naught. Now what is this? VL. So if the left hand side is a voltage in the frequency domain, this term is a voltage in the frequency domain as well, and this term is also voltage in frequency domain. It's important because like things add together or subtract from each other. So if this is voltage, for these two terms to be add up, or say this subtracted from this must yield in a voltage. So these must be voltages themselves. So if this is a voltage term and this is a current term, what is this? So this is an impedance term. We bring back this word impedance. So and also the reactance for the case of a pure inductor, we can use its inductive reactance, and for the case of inductive reactance, it is, if I represent by it by x xl of s, then it is SL. It is and it has units of ohms. Actually, I need to check what is the exact unit of this term, because if we look at it closely, the unit of I think it's ohm. So it is SL. It is impedance or reactance. That's very important, because for the case of an inductor, the reactance or the impedance is SL. So compare this with this. So if S is replaced by j omega, we get the same thing. And this is one thing to be noted. The other thing to be noted is this expression itself. So here we said, okay, this equation matches the representation of an Ohm's law. So this thing in time is equal to this thing in frequency. But can we say the same here, that this thing in time is equal to this thing in frequency? No. Why? Because here we have one term. Here we have two terms. So the voltage across and the inductor in frequency domain has two terms. One based on the current through the inductor. This is not dependent on the current through the inductor. It is purely on the initial value of the current through the inductor and the inductance itself. But this is dependent on whatever is currently flowing through the inductor. And so therefore, if for example this is written because of application of KVL, then what we are trying to say, that in a closed loop there are three terms: the voltage across something, and the voltage across one of the things, and the voltage across the other thing, with consideration of this negative sign. So let us say we have something over here. What is that thing? Let me enclose it in a box for now. We have a box here, and there is some voltage across this one as well, and some voltage across this one, such that the overall voltage across both is VL of S. So what is this thing and what is this thing? And the current through this inductor was IL of S. IL of S, and the voltage across the whole thing is VL of S. But now this VL of S has two parts, one part. This part, one of the part is dependent on IL of S and SL. So it should be just like Ohm's law, the application of Ohm's law. So this term is actually SL IL of S. So if IL of S is the current through this something and this is its impedance, then this thing must have an impedance of SL. And the voltage across this based on Ohm's law is this. But what about this? This thing here is not dependent on IL of S. So whatever this current is, this thing does not depend on it, except on its initial value. But look at this negative sign here. So although this would be the polarity of this thing, we are taking, but this, if this is the polarity, then VL of S would be equal to this thing plus this thing. But it is a negative sign here. So we need to completely represent this thing, minus Li naught by something. Is it dependent on IL of S? No. I naught is a value, constant. L is a constant. So this is a negative constant. So how a constant is represented? So this whole voltage is equal to this voltage plus this voltage. So how to represent this? So we have a voltage source here, an independent voltage source with negative sign here and positive sign here. This is very important. And its value is Li naught. So a inductor with some initial current converts to the equivalent impedance with a voltage source in series. This is very important to try to understand this. We are not going to do this procedure again and again. We just know this result. So when we encounter an inductor, we replace it by this. That's very important. And similarly, we can handle a capacitor as well. So we have a capacitor. You should ideally pause this video here and try to see how a capacitor would be represented. But let me do it for you. So if this is IC and this is VC, then we know if we are talking about voltage, then we are going to write the expression using the integral. But we can say we know this expression. So therefore, we can exactly tread these steps and find this representation. It would be a bit different, but let us try to do exactly on the same lines. So we are going to get dVc by dt. A Laplace transform of both sides is going to get us IC of S is equal to C S Vc of S minus Vc's value at 0 minus. So what we are going to get, IC of S would be equal to SC Vc of S minus C, let us say this is some initial voltage V naught across the capacitor in the same polarity as Vc. Then we get C V naught. However, here it was voltage term. Here this is a current term. This is a current voltage. This is current term. This must be current term, and this must be current term. So here it is an application of KCL. If we have a node, then three branches are coming and going. Three branches are combining at a node, and this is the current that goes into this thing, whatever we are going to draw, and the voltage overall across that thing is Vc of S, capital VC, just to write this thing. So the box that we are going to draw for the equivalent of C with some initial voltage has current IC of S going in and Vc of S across it. So what we are going to do here, so we must have, if this IC of S is going inward and we take IC of S to that side as well, then IC of S is negative. So inward is negative, but this term is positive. So this outward term is positive and it is SCVC of S, and this is negative, so it is also inward and it is CV naught. So what do we have here and what do we have here is to be found. So here is something that has this current flowing through it. So what is this VC of S? This is VC of S. So it is VC of S is the voltage across it. So we replace this by an inductor. So what is the impedance of the capacitor now? Equivalent impedance of the capacitor in the frequency domain. So remember this form is V is equal to Ri, then I is equal to V over R. So I is equal to V over R. So what is this when brought to the denominator? It is 1 over SC. So compare this thing with this thing. 1 over SC. If you replace S by j omega, you get this thing. So this is something in this fashion. And what about this thing? This is not dependent on VC, the voltage across it. It's a value, and flowing this in this direction. So this is a current source in this direction and its value is CV naught. And here it is going out. IC of S going in, splitting, and then coming out of this thing is IC of S once again. So this is the representation of a capacitor in the frequency domain. And that's not all. We can draw such a symbol for inductor as well. So if this is VL equal to SLI minus LI naught equal to, what will IL be equal to? Let us find IL from this expression. So from this expression, SL, IL, I am dropping that S argument, is equal to, this term comes to this side, VL minus LI naught, and this SL goes to the denominator. We get IL is equal to VL over SL minus this SL goes here as well, I naught over S. So compare this thing, this expression with this one. Now we have I, one term which is positive, negative. Oh, so this, sorry. This comes to this side and becomes positive. So you see, here we had a negative sign, here we have a positive sign. So this means an inductor can also be drawn like this with an inductor and a parallel current source. So the current that goes in is, capital IL of S. The voltage across this whole thing is VL of S. This is still SL, but this current source has this direction because of this positive sign, and its value is I naught over S. Similarly, you can find what will be VC equal to for the case of the capacitor. So VC of S capital would be equal to, so we take this to the other side, I plus CV divided by SC. So what do we get? IC of S divided by SC positive. CV naught divided by SC is going to give us V naught over S. So we can also represent the capacitor by the capacitor with the reactance or impedance 1 over SC. The current through it would be IC of S. The voltage across the whole thing is VC of S. And here we have a voltage source, but here we had a minus sign, so the voltage source had this polarity. Here we have a plus sign, so the voltage source have this polarity, the same polarity as VC. This is positive, same polarity as uh, this. So this is V naught of S over S. 1 over SC, the whole voltage across this is V naught VC of S. And so you have to remember these five things. The good news for you is that I give these symbols in the table that I also provide a table for the symbols in the exam as well. For example, you can see that in the book there is a table 15.1, which contains these five or six equivalences. Let me introduce this term uh, impedance once again. So the I think the reactance term is not used in the Laplace transform, but I will check that. So the impedance term is a term that is not of a not for the time domain. It's purely for the frequency domain. Remember, the term impedance was used in the phasor domain. So the impedance, the resistive impedance is nothing but R itself. However, the inductive impedance, and remember this is a function of S. Here we don't have any S, it's a constant, but ZL of S is equal to SL and ZC of S is equal to 1 over SC. We don't have an imaginary term here. I will later show you, although I write it here, but I will later have more discussion on this, that this S is actually a complex frequency such that S is taken to be equal to alpha, a real term, plus j omega. So when alpha is equal to 0, you get exactly the same impedances or the same things that we have encountered in the phasor domain. So making S is equal to j omega makes the Laplace transform thing equal to the phasor thing. We will have more discussion on this later on. However, it is good to note at this point. So when we have impedances, so impedances in series add together. So if we have Z1 of S and Z2 of S, then the overall, sorry, no sign for it, the overall impedance would be Z equivalent would be Z1 of S plus Z2 of S. And two impedances in parallel would have the similar behavior as that of the resistances in parallel. So the equivalent would be the sum of the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocals. Or for the case of two only, this is strictly for the case of two impedances, it is equal to the product over sum. So if uh, this is understood and the table is provided, all you have to do is given a circuit in the time domain. So for example, let us look at the same circuit that we have encountered just now. So remember, we are only concerned for circuits that are 40 greater than 0. I'm just drawing the time domain circuit for now. So the first step, and this would be 7 UT. The first step would be in converting this circuit to the frequency domain. So pay close attention and see how I am doing it. Simple. You just redraw the circuit. If the voltage sources and current sources values, take the Laplace transform of that. So the Laplace transform of 7 ut is 7 over s. Use the same, we can use the same units, um, although I think the unit um, for voltages and currents in time domain is a bit different. So remember this definition of the Laplace transform. F of s is equal to an integral from 0 to infinity, where we have the function multiplied by e raised power minus st dt. Now you know time has units of seconds, so s must be units, or must have units of per second, because any exponent must be dimensionless. So if t is in time units, then s must have units of per time, or t inverse, so that the dimensions cancel and this becomes dimensionless. An exponent, a value e raised for something, must be dimensionless. That's fine. So whatever are the units of this f of t are multiplied by the units of time dt here. So basically, if we have voltage here, we have time here. So the if this is a voltage, we have this, the units of this volts. This is dimensionless, and the unit of this seconds. So the units of this is volts second, volts second. So actual unit should be volt second, and but it is confusing. So you can ignore writing the units and confusing yourself and myself as well. So let us skip it. Just we know that what the units are. So here we encounter a capacitor. So from the table, it is completely over choice, completely over choice. No rule, no nothing. We can choose this one, we can choose this one, whatever way we choose, whatever is going to help us solve the circuit. So here we have to write node voltage uh, terms, node voltage equation. So we would be interested in currents. So representing this capacitor by its equivalent form in this way, where we have a current source, may ease things. Although it's not a rule, we can use this one. It's purely your choice, but let me use this one. So, so see, the initial voltage, if you remember, was given in this polarity of 2 volts. We took VC in this polarity. That's very important. What is the polarity of VC? So look at the polarity of VC and then look at the direction of current source. So we need to replace the capacitor by a capacitor in parallel with a current source that has the same direction as the voltage across it that we are taking, right? And its value would be, so what is V naught here in this case was 2 volts. V naught at 0 plus or 0 minus is the same and is 2 volts, and C is 0.5. So C 0.5 into V naught 2 is 1. So we have a 1 ampere. So it's not ampere second, but we can either take volts and ignore that second thing for now. And this is 0.5 farad, but it's going to convert to 1 over SC. C is 0.5, so we are going to get 2 over S. And then the resistor remains a resistor of 1 ohm. This is an ohm. This is an ohm. And once again, we have complete freedom and choice. We can represent, we can use this equivalent or this equivalent. However, here we have a simplification. Remember, we solved and saw that this IL was equal to 0. So I naught is 0. Is 0, the short circuit, and 0 over S is 0 is an open circuit. So for the case of the inductor, we are just left with the inductor, and the inductor gets replaced by SL. So L is 4, so 4S, and this source again can be written as 4 by S volts, and that is something very important that most do not do. All the markings of the circuit must also be converted to their equivalent Laplace transform functions. So small vx is now capital Vx. You can ignore this writing this argument S because it's going to confuse you later. And this Vc in this case, if needed at some place, should also be marked as capital Vc now. And this current, if needed somewhere, is now capital IL. It's not small. Now this is a function in the time domain, and this is its equivalent in frequency domain. That's it. So what's the benefit of this? So remember, we needed to solve this circuit for using voltage NVA, not voltage technique. So here we are going to use all those, by the way, rules and techniques that we have learned in the time domain are applicable here. We can prove that actually, but for now, you can take me for and believe it right away. So assuming this is the voltage Vx at this node with reference to this one, we can now solve this as a normal resistive circuit. Yeah, like I used to say for the case of phasor. So this outward current for this branch is -1 or +1, or we have to write the current for +1. If this is 0 volts, this is 7 by S volts, or this is directly known the current, and the current in this branch is plus Vx minus 7 by S over 2 by S plus Vx over 1 plus Vx minus 4 by S over 4S is equal to 0. And we can write this as this S can go here, and 2 is in the denominator. Here we have 4 over S in the denominator. So we can multiply throughout by 4S square to get 4S square. And here we are going to have S here, 4S cube by 2. So 2 is going to cancel out, 2S cube Vx, and 4S square by 2 minus 14S. Is that right? Plus 4S square Vx plus S Vx and minus 4 equal to 0. I hope in my efficiency I have not committed a mistake. Minus, I think when this S goes up, we are going to get S square here. And you can see, if we can compare with whatever I have done in the previous video clip, this is that same equation. So for example, Vx would be equal to 4S square minus 14S square is minus 10S square, goes to the other side and we get 10S square. That goes to the other side, we get plus 4 over, and that same thing, 2s cube plus 4s square plus s, and the rest of the procedure is the same. But here what we have done, we have eliminated the writing the integral differential equation and then applying Laplace transform. We have skipped that. In fact, as an exercise, what you should do is you should use this equivalent symbol for the capacitor here, and then write the equations again and see if you get to the same expression for Vx or not. So with this, basically, we sort of completed the course for this second sessional. We are going to um, continue after the sessional now, and there is a lot to study, and we have very less time. So if you have any question, if after going through the lectures you have any question, do write to me. I am going to either cover that with a video lecture and answer your questions, each of the question, and or we can have an online session. Personally, I believe that a recording of a lecture based on your questions would be much better.